I hope you guys had a great weekend. I certainly did have a great weekend. I was at a mastermind this weekend, so it's like where like a bunch of speakers come together and you like are learning from tons of really awesome people. So that's what I was doing this weekend. And I went to a hotel, so it was distraction free and I could really focus. And I want to share with you some of the gold nuggets that I pulled out of the conference or the mastermind because it was really, really impactful. And personal growth is near and dear to my heart. But also surrounding yourself with people who are where you want to be and who you want to be, right? Because the 5 people that we surround ourselves with, our 5 closest people, are the people we most likely will turn out to be like. So why not learn from people who I think are incredibly amazing? And so I was going to just share with you some of the things that I learned and some things that I thought were cool. So the first speaker was Pat Quinn. And Pat Quinn teaches and is a mentor to many, many people like Tony Robbins and many other big names. And he taught us some speaking tips, and he taught us how to engage an audience. So that move that I did right there, the look to one side, look to the other, bring your head down 6 inches, he called it the Scooby-Doo. But you probably leaned forward because you wanted to hear what I had to say. And that's like one of the tips that he taught. And it's kind of funny because I feel like when he was doing that, I like just automatically leaned forward. So I don't know, tell me in the comments if you did too. But I also got to talk or listen to Sherry Tree. And Sherry Tree teaches about the different personalities and how the different personalities relate to that same personality. And so like there's like red, blue, green, yellow. I think there's like 4 main color personalities. And then so if a green is talking to a green, they relate more and agree more. And so she has been working with those personality traits and actually created technology to figure out what personality trait someone or main personality someone has within 90 seconds, which is pretty crazy. And so she's spoken to the UN about it. She's spoken at Harvard about it. And their technology, you can actually like run it on somebody's profile, like a Facebook profile, and it'll tell them. For me, like I'm definitely like yellow, which is the nurturing kind. And then so if they were to run to me, I would be yellow first, and then they'd have the other colors down to like what the programming thinks is my exact makeup of my personalities, which is kind of interesting. And then Frank came to talk. And Frank is a speaker and an author. He has a star on the Walk of Fame. And he's also a producer. Like he's producing a documentary about the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So if you've seen that one, that's who's behind it. He actually asked the founder of that company, "What is your wish?" And the founder had never been asked that question before. And he said that his wish was that his grandkids would know his story. And so Frank was making his wish come true and putting together a documentary about his life and the foundation and making sure that his grandkids will know his story. So it's pretty cool. But some advice that Frank gave, was seek advice and not opinions, which I feel like rings really, really loud to me right now. But advice, go to people who have done it, who know how to do it, and will point you in the right direction for whatever you want to do, instead of listening to the opinions of other people who have not done it or who haven't ventured out even in that category of whatever you're trying to do, like writing a book and stuff like that, because there's a difference. The opinions are shared widely and openly, and they're sharing what they think, not what they know, right? So it's different. So seek advice, not opinions. And he also said that everything's your fault. Everything in my life is my fault. And he claims everything in his life is his fault, and everything is everybody's fault. So what he says is to take 100% responsibility of your life, which I agree with. And then he said he has a thing that he goes by, and it's CPS. C stands for clues. There's always clues in a situation or in people's behaviors. For instance, he gave the example of someone showing up late for a date. Okay, there's your clue. And then there's P, which is patterns. So if this person would show up late regularly, there is a pattern. And then you have a C, which is your choice. What you choose to do with that information, because you can see the clues, you can see the patterns, and then you have responsibility to make a choice with what you do with that information. So it kind of relates, well, it does relate to all aspects of our life. And like he gave the example of, going on a date with this lady. She is late. She started being late all the time, but then he has a choice to continue in that relationship or to not continue in that relationship. But it's not the lady's fault. That's just her pattern. He has a choice of what to do with it. So pretty cool. And then we talked with Courtney Epps. And Courtney Epps is like a tax strategist genius. She opened my eyes to a lot of different things. Like she said that the average American spends more on taxes than food, clothing, housing, and transportation combined. I was like, what? But if you think about it, we're taxed on our income, and then we're taxed when we buy something, and when we have gas or buy gas, and all these different things we are taxed on. So she said that there's two tax systems. One is to steal money from the people, and one is to save money for the people, to save your money. And that one is a personal business. So she went through all the ways to save money by owning a personal business. And then she stated this fact also, which I was kind of shocked by, but she said that 46% of Americans don't have an extra $400 to their name, and 69% of Americans don't have an extra $1,000 to their name. And then she quoted, her book is called Why You Would Be Brain Dead Not to Own a Personal Business. And then she literally went on to explain how you can save so much money in taxes and go from being in the red with your family budget to being in the green just by having a home business. So it was really, really interesting. And she opened up my mind to a lot of different things. You can pay your kids $12,240 a year, non-taxed both ways, which was really interesting up until they're 18. I think they have to be 4 or 5, at least 4 or 5, and then up until they're 18, you can pay them that much without getting taxed. So that's pretty interesting. And the next speaker was Ray Hagan, and he talked about confidence. And that confidence is an after effect. It happens after you've done something many times. So he said, don't wait for confidence, which is really interesting to me because sometimes I do. I'm like, oh man, if I can be confident in this area, then I'll do it, right? But he said, don't wait for confidence because you'll never actually do it then. Because confidence comes after you've done something many times. It's an after effect. So he said, tap into your courage in the moment. And when you're tapping into your courage in the moment and doing something repeatedly, an activity that scares you, eventually you will develop confidence in it. And then the last speaker that I listened to, I still have one speaker to listen to on replay, but the last speaker I listened to was Steve Sims. And I love Steve Sims. He is awesome. He's so spunky. I don't know. I just like spunky people. And But he was talked about living with other people's monsters. And those are self-limiting beliefs. Oftentimes when we step out of the normal, step out of what people expect for us, or stop hiding, because oftentimes we hide, like we have opinions and then we don't say them because somebody might think differently or somebody might tell us we're wrong, right? We kind of hide. So he said, stop living with other people's monsters, which is limitations. And he said that you cannot control someone else's monsters. You can't control their limitations that they believe, but you can control if they bite you. So and he also said, surround yourself with challengers, people who challenge you and ask you questions and who tell you you can. When you bring up an idea, instead of telling you all the reasons why it won't work and that you shouldn't try and that, oh, that's super hard, get around people who are going to ask you questions and say, like, oh, that's an awesome idea. Like, what do you plan to do first? And hey, I've been there. Check out this resource. That will help you speed up your process. Like, those people who are challenging those mindsets and moving beyond those mindsets are the people that you want to center yourself around. So if you want to jump into some of the books, because all these authors have books, I put some of the books on my website. There's a link below. Let's see if I can do this right there. You can see the link. Otherwise, just go to KeishaLangston.com and it will be in the top right-hand corner titled Personal Growth Guide. But no pressure. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Just figured I'd put it out there. But it is important that you keep growing because we are put on this earth to do something great. Not just one person is put on this earth to do something great. Every single person has greatness and deep value in them. So I'm talking to you. You were put on this earth for a purpose. So keep growing into your fullest potential, because if you don't grow into who God designed you to be and don't start stepping out of the ordinary, then there will be people who are going to be served by you in the future who won't get served. So there's people that you can help in the future that won't get helped, but it kind of depends on you, right? As Frank said, it's all your fault. I'm saying this in love. But honestly, like, it is your responsibility to continue in personal growth. And I feel like sometimes, like, we're forced to go to school. Like, K through 12th education is something that you have to do. And then, like, some people go on to trade schools or college, but then sometimes people slip into the ordinary, doing the same thing every single day and not reaching for more education, reaching for more growth. And the cool thing about personal growth, after you're out of the education system, if you were ever in it, is that you choose what you want to learn, right? Sometimes I think education, people can be like, ugh, I don't want to learn anything because I had to learn, all these things that I didn't want to learn in school. You can choose how you want to grow personally. So that's my little tidbit for today. I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you later.